Ekalef, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here again this evening. So I trust we all had a wonderful day. So hope the work was not really stressful. Yeah, today I want to talk about the goals. What is that thing you haven't planned this year that you are thinking of executing, that you are thinking of implementing? So that's why I say that make this year a year of implementation for yourself. Make this year a year of implementation. You have done a lot in terms of conceptualizing, in terms of planning, in terms of analyzing, in terms of strategizing. So this year, let it be your year of implementation. Let it be your year of implementation. Implement those things you have been planning since all this while. So it is when you implement, that is when your dream will transform from mere dream to an action stage. So implementation stage is an action stage when you need to act, start, do it, test it, run it, and make sure that this thing is actually working. So it is when you implement, that is when you can now think of evaluating. There will be no evaluation without implementation. During your evaluation, that's when you will know where do you make mistake, what do you need to do right, what do you need to do well, what have you done well, what is my strength, what is my weakness so far. So but when you don't implement, when you don't start, you will not know how to evaluate yourself. So that is why I said that since for the past how many years now that you've been thinking, things have been running in your mind, you have been strategizing, fight too many things, and but your problem is how to start. Let me tell you, there's no amount of strategy, there's no amount of planning, there's no amount of analyzing, there's no amount of research that you can carry out that is enough for you not to still make the same mistake when you implement, when you start. You learn on job. You learn on job. So that is why do less of all this. Start first. Just start anyhow. When you start, how you will take it to the next level will come to you. I know the problem of majority is how to start, because you have the fear that okay, when you start, you have fear of making mistake. Yes. So when you make mistake as an entrepreneur, it adds to your experience, it doesn't waste. Automatically, as time goes on, you will surely learn from this thing, and then you correct yourself and you continue your journey. So but when you don't start and you still have this fear that if I make mistake, I may not stand again, what will people talk about me, what will people say this, what will people say that, I can tell you, you will not move to the next stage of your life. That is why it is essential that this year 2024, as you can see, is a special year, a year of implementation, is a unique year, leap year for that matter, and it's a year that begins with Monday. On Monday is a special day. So if you don't know, you better know. So once you see that okay, year started on Monday, is a significant, it's a sign that at least this is a year that you don't need to sleep, it's a year that you need to wake up. So it's a year that you don't need to agree for poverty. You need to fight it by all means. If you agree for anything, don't agree for poverty. So that is why I say that start, just start anyhow. When you start, then you correct your mistake from the process. I mean, on the journey. Then you learn, you improve more. Then the result will begin to come. So fún gbogbo àǹfààní gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé tẹ́ ń gbọ́ mi, kí ni mò ń sọ ni pé ọdún yìí ọdún tí ó yẹ kí a gbìyànjú lórí pé kí la fẹ́ ṣe lórí bá a ṣe fẹ́ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ gbogbo àlá wa tá ti ń lá sẹ́yìn. Òun ni ọdún tí a máa rí pé at least kò sí bó tilẹ̀ wù kó rí, mo sá tiẹ̀ fẹ́ dáwọ́lé kinní lọ́dún yìí, mo fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́dún yìí. Ọdún yìí ọdún kan tó yẹ kí a ṣe, kò ń sọdún tí èèyàn lè fi ṣeré, tí èèyàn lè máa fi ṣeré àbí tí èèyàn máa fi tàfàlà. So ẹ ti gbìyànjú láti ro oríṣiríṣi nǹkan, ìròrí ti wá lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. You know what you want to do. Ẹ ti mọ nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe, ẹ ti mọ nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ gbé ṣe, oríṣiríṣi àwọn nǹkan lẹ ní tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ wo pé okay, nínú gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí mo rò pé mo fẹ́ ṣe yìí, èwo ni mo tiẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́kọ́ dáwọ́lé ńbẹ̀ náà? Then ẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ẹ má bẹ̀rù pé ẹ máa ṣàṣìṣe lójú ọ̀nà yẹn. Àṣìṣe ara ìrìn àjò àti jẹ́èyàn láyé ni. So kò sẹ́ni tó débẹ̀ lénìí tó pé tẹ́ bá bi léèrè kò ní sọ pé àwọn náà ṣe àṣìṣe one or two things, because kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe lè wà careful tó, bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe lè ṣọ́ra sí tó, tí àṣìṣe yẹn náà ò ní padà wá. Á wá náà ni. So nígbà tá a tó wá mọ̀ pé ó máa wá, kí ló dé tá tiẹ̀ wá kúkú bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí àwọn nǹkan yẹn kó máa bá wa lórí ẹ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti wá tó bá wa lórí ẹ̀, a dẹ̀ wò pé okay, báwo la ti fẹ́ ṣe one or two things. A dẹ̀ wò pé yes, jẹ́ ká a máa control eléyìí. Ẹ máa súnmọ́ ẹni tó bá mọ̀ jù yín lọ, ó máa explain fún yín, á kọ́ yín, á jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé yes, báyìí la ṣe máa ń ṣe báyìí. Bọ̀ láì bẹ̀rẹ̀, kò sẹ́ni tó máa kí yín kú iṣẹ́. So ìdí nìyẹn tó fi yẹ kí ẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀. It is when you start, ìgbà yẹn lẹ tó máa rí nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ̀ gangan. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn business idea táwọn èèyàn máa ń fún yàn yẹn, ẹ máa rí pé kò correct nígbà míì. Yes, kò correct because nígbà míì wà tó jẹ́ pé emotion as in bó ṣe ń gbé èèyàn nínú lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ yẹn fi máa mú okòwò kan láti máa bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ okòwò kan àbí méjì. Ó pé business kíní dáa, tẹ́ bá dáwọ́lé láàrin ọdún kan ẹ máa dolówó, ẹ máa digbó, ẹ máa dàwó. Fine, if you are very lucky. But the fact is that emotion lẹ́ni yẹn fi gbé wa. Tẹ́yìn náà bá fẹ́ emotion gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ bẹ́yẹn, tẹ́ ẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀, tẹ́ kó gbowó lé, ohun tó wà níbẹ̀ gangan, the fact tó wà níbẹ̀ gangan, ìgbà tẹ́ bá tó débẹ̀ lẹ máa tó rí. Kò ń ṣègbà tó gbé wá yẹn. Kò dẹ̀ sókòwò láyé yìí tí ò ní ìpèníjà títí ẹ̀, tàbí à ń parọ́ tàn àwa jẹ lóko. Ṣùgbọ́n kò sí bí ìpèníjà yẹn sì lè wù kó tó, at least ó sì dá ó fọkàn balẹ̀ ju àìṣe rárá lọ. Ìdí nìyẹn tó fi jẹ́ pé ọdún yìí ẹ má jẹ́ kó náà kó tún lọ bí tàwọn tó ti lọ sẹ́yìn. Ọjọ́ ayé ń lọ nìyẹn. Ìdí tó fi yẹ ká gbìyànjú lọ́dún yìí ni pé gbogbo alárí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ńláṣẹ̀ lórí ètò ọrọ̀ ajé Nàìjíríà, gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe dẹnu kodò. A bẹ̀rẹ̀ wàhálà yẹn láti ìgbà tí cash crunch tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti February last year. Àgbà yẹn láti kó sí. Lẹ́yìn ẹ̀, government transition dé, kìíní bẹ̀rẹ̀, wọ́n yọ subsidy, wọ́n yọ first subsidy. Wọ́n ṣe subsidy yẹn, gbogbo nǹkan lọ sókè, kò skyrocket. Kò pẹ́ tán yọ first subsidy tán, ọ̀rọ̀ dọ́là náà collapse. Everything bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ sókè, ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wọ́n gógó sí. So tá bá wo gbogbo nǹkan yẹn, bí gbogbo nǹkan ṣe ń lọ sókè yẹn, ọ̀nà tó ń gbà wọlé fún wa só yàtọ̀ sí ti tẹ́lẹ̀. Kó yàtọ̀. Ìdí nìyẹn tó fi jẹ́ wípé ó tọ́ lásìkò yìí ká ṣègbìyànjú. Òṣì ó ń ṣe nǹkan tí ẹ̀mọ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ o. I must tell you the reality. Poverty is not something that you befriend with. And he doesn't know anybody tí ò lè polish. Poverty can deal with anybody, especially those who fail to act when they're supposed to act. That is why you should also develop a mentality that at least by all means, I want to fight this thing. I want to combat this thing. And instead, this thing will end in my own generation. So saying it is not just to go to church or mosque to declare that my generation poverty must end. No, you need to work towards it. It is that action that will translate, that will take you, that will transist you from that level of poverty to the next level. So that is why it is essential that at least you take actions. You take actions. So, and ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan tó ń fa tí ó ń fa àìfẹ́ take action yìí tí mi rí sí ni pé àkọ́kọ́ ni pé àfẹ́ ṣàṣìṣe. Àwọn pé okay tí mo bá ṣe kinní tí ò bá gbà bí mo ṣe rò ó kí láyé máa sọ. Kí láyé máa sọ. Ìbéèrè tí máa ń bá àwọn èèyàn léèrè ni pé àìṣí ẹ táyé ò sọ̀rọ̀. It's just that you are just postponing the time fún wa padà sọ̀rọ̀ sọ. You yourself know that your current state, if economy continue like this, it is not, you cannot survive it for the next 2, 3, 4 years. You know in your mind. So as you know that in your mind, so what is now keeping you from doing everything possible to ensure that at least you start doing everything possible to ensure that at least you grow, you build another stream of income, and you see how you can make more money so that you can sustain your own standard of living. You should be able to sustain your own standard of living, because I'm not an advocate of cutting costs. Every cost you are incurring, it's geared towards your happiness. The moment you begin to reduce it, the less happy you are. So that is why, instead of you cutting costs, why don't you increase your own stream of income and make sure that you stay happy? It is when you are happy, that is when you can think straight. When you think straight, you can achieve anything you desire to achieve. So, ìdí nìyẹn tó jẹ́ pé by all means make sure you do something else to supplement what you do, and make sure that you are on the right track. To some of you that, okay, what you do is still viable, there are a lot of opportunity there, why don't you improve on that thing you are doing? Why don't you improve on it? Why must you operate at the bottom level of the pyramid in your own line of business? Why don't you improve yourself? Why don't you see how you can move from this level to the next level to the next level and make sure that you get to the peak of your career? So rather than you being contented with the current situation where you are, that may not sustain you for the next few years, think about it. You have to think about it. This is a wake-up call. Let this year count. Don't let it waste like other years. You have chance, you can do it. You have a lot of chance in your hand. You have a lot of opportunity at your disposal to tap and make sure that you increase your lot. To some of you that are asking me that if we want to diversify, where can we diversify into? Because I can see comments, people ask me how can they diversify. My question for you is that's your environment. What is lacking there? What is the missing gap, missing link in that environment? Why can't you fill that gap and provide what people will need in that environment to increase your own stream of income? So opportunity is everywhere. Just look around, do your environmental scanning, and make sure that at least with that, you see how you can tap into this and increase your own opportunity. Last year, Honest Communication were all known to be a recharge card dealer and a recharge card dealer. So, and financial inclusion. By doing that, we look around, we do our investigation, we ensure that there is a shortage of food in the market. By having a shortage of food in the market, we saw this is an opportunity for us to keen into it. And fortunately enough, that was the same time that government declared emergency on food security. So we see it as an opportunity, meaning that the food that's skyrocketed in the market is not that the food is not there somewhere. Foods are there in abundance somewhere, but the problem is to bring it down here to this area is a major challenge for us. So we look at that, we consult some people, then we put one or two things together, then we roll it out. Fine. It's just as if people have been waiting for us to bring this thing. The turnover is huge. The response is amazing. In fact, I was like, how are they coping before we actually come into this business? That is solving problem. When you sell, you solve problem. When you sell, you serve your people. When you sell, you care for your people. So when you look around, we see that yes, there is a missing gap here. What do? We find a way to fill this gap. And today, we've already registered our presence in that industry. Automatically, we are in that line as well. Fine. We make some mistakes. Normally, it has to happen. But at the same time, the reward is far beyond the mistake. That is why in your own little capacity as well, look around you. What is missing in your environment? Nigerians, we are so blessed. Just look around you. What is missing there? Find a solution to that problem. No matter how small it is, the reward will come. So this is where I will stop tonight. I think next time we'll talk about another thing. So kí ni mo ń sọ ni pé àwọn nǹkan tí ò jẹ́ kí ẹ fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn, àwọn nǹkan yẹn báyẹn ń rò pé tí mo bá bẹ̀rẹ̀, tí n bá ṣáà ti ṣe, tí kinní yìí ò bá work, kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀, kí láyé máa sọ ń pa mi. My dear brother and sister, you are just postponing the day. Ẹ kàn ń ti ọjọ́ tán máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa yín yẹn, ọjọ́ tán máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ gangan, òun tì síwájú náà ni. Because ìwọ fúnra ẹ mọ̀ pé nǹkan tó ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ lénìí kò tó láti sustain ẹ fún ọdún 2, 3, 4 sísìn. You know that time is coming that the current income tó ń rí ń sìn, owó tó ń wọlé fẹ́ ń sìn kò ní tó nǹkan kan mọ́ láti gbọ́ bùkátà tó fẹ́ gbọ́. So and ìwọ dẹ̀ rí o ti already choose line tó fẹ́ mú pé okay, okòwò mo fẹ́ ṣe. So ó ti wà ní line yẹn nìyẹn, ojú ogun kan ni, wà á dẹ̀ rí pé ó jàlá. So kí ló kù ni pé lẹ́yìn tó ti ṣe yẹn, kí ló kù ni wípé wà á gbìyànjú pé okay, èmi mọ̀ pé kinní yìí kò lọ dàbí alára mọ́. So kò lè lọ dàbí alára mọ́. So 2 things ló máa ṣe. Wà á wò pé okay, so opportunity sì wà ní line yìí tí mo lè improve lé lórí láti fi jẹ́ kí income n tó ń wọlé fún mi kó pọ̀ sí. Àbí tó bá yẹ pé kò sí opportunity ń bẹ mọ́, wà á wò pé line mi wo opportunity wà. Kí ni nǹkan míì tó ń miss láwùjọ yìí tí mo lè provide solutions tí yẹn. When you provide solution to it, you earn money. Solution solver are the richest people in the world. And the first solution you can ever provide for your people is to sell something that is difficult for them to get at this time. So, ọ̀nà àbáyọ àkọ́kọ́ tó lè ṣe fún ṣòro tó ń kojú àwọn èèyàn rẹ, ó ní pé kó máa ta nǹkan tó mọ̀ pé nǹkan yẹn ó ń dà wọ́n láàmú, ó ní wọ́n lára láti rí láwùjọ tó wà lénìí. So tó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, tó bá ń tajà, o ti ń solve problem àwọn èèyàn, o ti ń wá àbáyọ sí ìṣòro àwọn èèyàn. Tó bá ń tajà, o ti ń sin àwọn èèyàn. Tó bá ń tajà, o ti ń fi ń care fáwọn èèyàn, o ti fi ń wo pé o ti fi ń wá bí ìgbésí ayé ṣe máa rọrùn fáwọn èèyàn. So that is how it is. Bó ṣe jẹ́ gẹ́lẹ́ nìyẹn. So when you are selling market to somebody, don't think that you are just selling it to make profit alone. No, you are doing that thing you are doing láti fi lè wá ọ̀nà àbáyọ sí ìṣòro tó ń kojú àwọn èèyàn lásìkò yẹn, because nǹkan tí wọ́n ń tà yẹn tó bá tà ó ṣeé ṣe kó jẹ́ pé kán tó ríra àbí kán tó ríra dáadáa, àbí tí wọ́n ò bá tà ó ṣe jẹ́ pé owó tí wọ́n máa ra nǹkan náà ó máa gọbọi ju iye tí òun rà lọ. So when people ask you why are you selling what you sell, you let them understand pé òun ta tó ń ṣe o torí pé ó fẹ́ wá ọ̀nà àbáyọ sí ìṣòro tó ń kojú àwọn èèyàn láwùjọ. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe sọ, nígbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ ráìsì títà, a rí i pé ìgbà yẹn ráìsì ti ń lọ sókè, ọkàn sáà ń lọ sókè lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀, oṣooṣù, ọ̀sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀, ojoojúmọ́. Tẹ́ bá dọ́jà lénìí, price tẹ́ máa yàtọ̀ sí tàná. So kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? So mo pa àwọn èèyàn kan mọ́ra, àmì kan méjì, mo tẹ mọ́tò létí, ó di Òkè Ọya. So láti lọ wo pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bẹ̀yẹn gan. Ó sọ́mi pé kò wá sún jẹ́ ń bí báyìí ni, àbí kí ló dé táyé fi wá lé báyìí ní àdúgbò wa ń bí báyìí sí. Mo dẹ̀ débẹ̀ mo ní pé kí ni wà ń bí báyìí lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ náà. So okay, kí la máa ṣe ni pé let's start bringing this thing down here. Àṣeyọrí àkọ́kọ́ tá a kọ́kọ́ ṣe lórí ipa gbóúnjẹ yẹn wá ni pé to some extent a tèmú price yẹn down. Èmi àti yín mọ̀ pé tó bá dàsìkò ọdún, the rate tí price tí owó oúnjẹ fi máa ń lọ sókè ó máa ń high gan. So torí pé à ń pariwo fáfáfá lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára, Anis Unique Rice báyìí là ń ta o, Anis Unique Rice. So àwọn tó bá tiẹ̀ fẹ́ fowó lé tiwọn gan, wọ́n á rò lẹ́ẹ̀mejì pé àwọn eléyìí tán kégbe lórí rédíò yìí àtórí tẹ́lì yìí àtórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára yìí, wọ́n á kọ́kọ́ rò lẹ́ẹ̀mejì ká tó lè fowó lé fúnra wọn. Because wọ́n mọ̀ pé táwọn bá lọ try ó ṣeé ṣe kọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tó jẹ́ oníbàárà wọn wọ́n yà lọ sọ́dọ̀ wa. Àkọ́kọ́ nìyẹn. Ẹ̀kejì ni pé at least a gbé nǹkan yẹn wá, owó tá a fi tà ó rọrùn fáwọn èèyàn níwọ̀nba compare to nǹkan tá máa rà. Ẹ̀kẹta ni wípé a control speculation tó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní market. Èmi àti yín mọ̀ pé speculation ló máa ń fuel price tí price máa ń lọ sókè sí. So to some extent ó wà well controlled. When we brought our home, Lagos State government as well, àwọn náà release Èkó rice. So gbogbo ẹ̀ ó jam-packed láàrin ìjà. Automatically kò jẹ́ kí oúnjẹ yẹn ó wọ́n jù fáwọn èèyàn láti rà. Àwa sọ fún a provide solution sí problem àwọn èèyàn nìyẹn níwọ̀nba bí agbára tí wàá ṣe mọ̀. Ìwọ náà ibi tó wà yẹn ronú sí kí ló wà ń bẹ̀, kí ló ń sọnù ń bẹ̀, kí ni nǹkan tó rò pé ó miss níbẹ̀ yẹn, wá wọ́nà àbáyọ sí nǹkan yẹn kó dẹ̀ rí pé o provide solution sí. Tó bá ti provide solution, you'll be having money, you'll be making money. So let me tell you, forget about what people will say pé gbogbo òwò ló fẹ́ ṣe, kò sí lówó tó ń ṣòwò kan, wọ́n tanra ẹ̀. Gbogbo òwò ló fẹ́ ṣe yẹn is a poor man mentality, is a poor people mentality. Dangote bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bí à ń ta maggi, à ń ta gbogbo àwọn nǹkan kéékèèké tán ń lò nulẹ̀, ṣúgà, iyọ̀ tí wọ́n ń lò nulẹ̀. Ṣúgà ń tayọ̀, ó mú fò ó dorí indomie, ó dorí spaghetti, ó dorí gbogbo ẹ̀. Láti bẹ̀ lọ ó mú fò ó dorí sìmẹ́ǹtì, ó dorí náà ó ti ní refinery. Ẹni tó lówó jù, èèyàn aláwọ̀ dúdú tó lówó jù lágbàáyé nìyẹn. Mi ò dúró sójú kan yẹn. Táwa ni ìwọ èlò ló ní lọ́wọ́ tó pé business kan ló fẹ́ máa ṣe dey play. So ìdí nìyẹn tó jẹ́ pé èèyàn ń ìwọ fúnra ẹni wá wò pé gbogbo ohun tí ó lè òkàyé máa sọ yìí tó bá tásìkò tó bá fẹ́ san bíìlì, èèyàn mélòó ni ó bọ̀ san láàrin wọn, wọ́n tanra ẹ̀. So o ní lọ́kàn tó fẹ́ ṣe yẹn, bẹ̀rẹ̀ dáwọ́lé bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí, start. How you will do it will surely meet you there. Kò sí bó sì lè ṣe tó wàá ṣe mistake, ó yẹn sure, ṣùgbọ́n reward tó wà lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ ó ju àṣìṣe tó léwu kò ṣe lọ. So ìdí nìyẹn, ọdún yìí ọdún ayọ̀, ọdún ìdùnnú, ọdún tí ó yàbò fún wa, Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kó yàbò fún wa. Ìdí nìyẹn tó fi jẹ́ pé translate, move from mere declaration that this year is my year of financial prosperity, this year is no. work towards it. Work towards it. Work towards it. Ṣiṣẹ́ tọ̀. Àdúrà àti iṣẹ́ lọ́lọ́run máa ń fìbùkún sí. So méjèèjì ni wàá kọ́ ẹ̀ báyìí pọ̀. Kò ń ṣe léyìí tí wàá kàn jókòó wàá kàn máa gbogbo ẹ̀sìn àdúrà nìkan. Kò sí mírò kankan bí kan. Àwọn tó gbàdúrà jù tí ò ṣiṣẹ́ àwọn ló pọ̀ jù lágbàáyé, má tanra ẹ̀. So ìdí nìyẹn tó fi jẹ́ pé you need to act, start, do something. So we'll see you in our next episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. Good night.